The US dollar is higher in trading here today with the gains versus the Aussie and New Zealand versus New Zealand dollar leading the way. The dollar is also higher versus the dollar versus the yen by about 0.6%, about 0.4% versus the euro. I'll go through the three major currency pairs from a technical perspective in this video: the euro versus US dollar, dollar versus yen, sterling versus US dollar. Talk about the targets, talk about the risks, talk about the biases in this video. So let's get started. Let's first take a look at the hourly chart of the euro versus US dollar, and you can see that the price peaked last week at 1.18266. That happened on, well, I guess that's Tuesday's trade, and we started to rotate modestly to the downside, getting below the 100-hour moving average on Thursday. And for the most part, staying below it on Friday, the 4th of July holiday. And trading here today, the market opened up and tried to move above the 100-hour moving average in the Asian session, but then rotated to the downside, breaking below the 200-hour moving average. This is the first time the price broke below that level going back to this date toward like June 20th, June 21st. Where the market based against that 200-hour moving average before moving to the upside. So getting below that level is a key barometer and a shift in the short-term bias for the euro versus US dollar. There's work to do, but it's a start. So if in trading here today, if the price can remain below the 1.17415 level, the bias could see the price continue its move to the downside with this swing area down here as the next target area where the market consolidated using this level as a base before moving to the upside. That area comes between 1.1663 and 1.1691. So be aware of that. Below that, we'll look toward this swing area through here, the 38.2% retracement of the move higher, this trend type move, which really based that back here in around the May 13th level. As you can see, straight to the upside here. Doesn't come into play until about 1.15357. Taking a look at the daily chart for giggles, its high price that we saw on the trading last week got in between these two resistance level up here, defined by these two highs right through here that came in at 119.09, and it's still above this support level down here between the 1.1663 and 1.1691. Recall from that hourly chart, that's this area right through here. So this is a key level both on the daily chart, and you can see that the market used that level as a support before moving to the upside. So be aware of that 1.1663, 1.1691 on the downside. We need to get below that level to increase the bearish bias. Let's take a look at the dollar versus yen next, and again, I'll focus on the hourly chart. And this got a currency pair. The low price that we saw in last week's didn't reach new lows for the year, didn't reach new lows going back to May 27th either. We did come down and break up below these two lows right through here before failing and starting its rotation back to the upside. That rotation to the upside initially tried to get above the 100-hour moving average, couldn't do it, came back up to it right here. Couldn't get above it, but then it broke through it with momentum, and that forced the price above the 100 and 200. We kind of did the same thing on the downside right here through the 200-hour moving average, where we fell below it, couldn't get momentum to the downside, and then fell below it one more time before rotating to the upside and trading here today. That the rise has been pretty steady over the course of the day. For the dollar versus yen, and we next looked toward the broken 38.2% retracement. If I were to put a Fibonacci retracement just for giggles from this high to this low right here, the market, we're above the 50% retracement level, which is somewhat positive for this pair. If we want to find real close support, look at 145.35 or 36, but this might be the high from last week. That is more a focus for traders. Now that level comes in at the 145.216 level, so be aware of that. I'll put the Fibonacci back in here just to get the idea of where it's at. But 145.34, 145.21 are close support levels for the dollar versus yen. Now, if we stay above those levels, this pair can continue its rotation to the upside. On the top side, I'm going to just move it back to the 4-hour chart, and you can see the importance of this level going back in time. There was a high price here, traded above and below it here, but then used it again as a ceiling levels through here before breaking to the upside and then breaking to the downside using that level as resistance right here before moving lower. So this area between the 145.997 and 146.288 would be targets on the top side with further momentum in the dollar versus yen. Finally, let's take a look at the sterling versus US dollar. I'll focus here on the hourly chart. And like the euro versus US dollar, we did reach out to new highs in the year at 137.87. If I go back to the weekly chart, it was more than a year ago. In fact, we moved to the highest level going back to this point right here, which is October of 2021. In the process, we moved above the 50% retracement of the range since the 2014 high. The level comes in at 137.68. We got up to 137.87. So about 20 pips above that level. Here's that 68-ish type level right through here. And failed and started to rotate back to the downside. What I like about the technicals in this from a bearish perspective is how on Friday the high price came up to the 200-hour moving average, found willing sellers against that level, rotated back below the 38.2% retracement and trading here today, increasing the bearish bias. What we didn't do is get below the 50% retracement with momentum at 1.35786, and we've seen a rotation back to the upside. We'll be watching this swing area up to 136.33 as a resistance target. If we're able to stay below that level, stay below the 38.2% retracement, just below that level of 28, then the sellers can continue to kind of give the push down toward the 50% retracement. We'll see how that plays out, but this is a close resistance in trading at 136.34 in the pound versus US dollar to kickstart your day. So there you have it, a look at the three major currency pairs. My name is Greg Michalowski. Good fortune with your trading. Bye-bye now.